Hi, it's Hank here. Welcome to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to get rid of cops when you're most wanted in some of the craziest scenarios possible. Let's jump into it. So in this clip, I actually tried to go towards Missionary Hill, and these cops were following me, and I decided to throw a few grenades at them, but it didn't go very well as they were already past the boundary of where they could actually get affected by the grenades. I've used this stunt multiple times. There is basically a forest down there, but if you time it very well, you could steer towards the gaps in between trees. But I wasn't very successful this time, so I basically had to return my car to the mechanic. You can see my opponents falling down there because their speed wasn't enough. But I think you can actually do this stunt with Cheetah. It's just that they didn't succeed. But anyway, they knocked me down. Their passenger was shooting me from their window as they were already in the water, which is kinda crazy, and it doesn't happen very often. After the 10 seconds cooldown, after using the medkit, I get up and I'm using my sniper scope and I'm calling for a supply drop. But actually, after you use a medkit for some time, you're going to have a drunk effect. It's going to be very hard to aim at anyone for a few seconds, usually about 20 to 30 seconds, but I haven't really measured myself. But anyway, these guys are trying to swim towards the shoreline, and they're almost successful with it. However, I finally get them after a while, which was kind of tricky. I think they actually had a chance of getting me if they were to swim towards me. But in this scenario, their chances were pretty slim. So then I just called for my car that spawned up there on the Mount Chiliad. Anyway, let's get to the next clip. So in this clip, I'm trying to get to the Wang Car's rooftop in San Fierro. It's a very nice stunt and not everyone can perform it, but it's actually very easy. I'm not sure why people have trouble with it. In this case, I didn't really expect the cops to get on top of Wang Cars using Sultan, and they basically used a bump against the fence to get on top, which is really impressive, and I've never seen anything like that. That pillar wasn't very handy at all. I was kinda shocked. We escaped from this one by making another jump, getting on the main road, going south, but not as south as the things could actually go. In this scenario, we decided to spice things a bit up. As you see, we got ambushed by one of the most successful Rustler pilots in the game. His name is The Dan, and I did here a very unsuccessful crouch roll. And in a crazy twist of the story, the cop jumps towards the blades of the helicopter, and I'm not sure what's going on here, but somehow he killed him. In this next insane scenario, we got ambushed by a rustler on top of the hangar in Las Venturas airport. He almost knocked us down, but we still kept ourselves on the rooftop. So I summoned my car and it spawned right down there, as you can see on the radar. I still keep on shooting as I'm trying to protect ourselves because I have a partner named Sam with me. He tries to get us, but I have a bit of a knack in determining when the plane is going to hit me or not. And I'm trying to snipe a bit of cops because I'm basically trying to get to my car at this point. It was too dangerous to jump towards it, so we kind of wait out for a bit. I just tell my partner to jump, and I timed it very well, and I jump on the side of my car, which prevents me from getting a lot of damage, kinda. As you can see, my partner got slightly more damage to his health. Then we just sit in the car and we kinda dip. Just a bit of shootout here and there, and onto the Harry Gold Parkway we go. So yeah, that's how we escaped. I'm not sure where the Rustler went, but it just kind of disappeared. Then I like this stunt towards Montgomery, which I learned like a year ago, I think. Sometimes one of my favorite things to do in Las Venturas is to just camp at the Las Venturas Police Department rooftop. And as I got into the helicopter, it instantly started, but it was too dangerous to take off, as it would probably take on a lot of damage and it would basically explode. So I decided to dip and call for my car. And then there's a cop emerging out of the door, but unfortunately I somehow got the police officer's attention. I'm trying to take her down with grenades, which goes to plan basically, and with a decent headshot I get into my car and drive away. In this scenario, me and my partner just flying in Dodo from cops. As you can see in the chat, I'm trying to locate the closest cops. I'm using a command /LOC space $COP, which shows me the location of the closest cop, and I use auto hotkey for it again. So as we fly towards downtown Los Santos, I had an interesting strategy. I wanted the cops to follow us until we reached the vicinity of Los Santos Police Department, because there are helicopters that they could use to get to us. Yes, it sounds counterintuitive, but bear with me. As we land, after placing a supply drop to heal myself, I go towards the edge of the building, and there I can see the helicopter. Lo and behold, I just shoot them until they reach less than 1000 health points, and from that point I could use any other gun with good precision and just destroy the helicopter with one shot, just by shooting into rotor. I can see the cop approaching, but he doesn't know that the helicopter got rigged. There's also been a new update that added a weak spot into bullet, so I decided to use it and I destroyed the police officer's vehicle, which was actually very good, because it costs money to repair such vehicles. So I just wait for the cop to go to the rooftop, and he tries to snipe me for now. Then I can see that the cop is getting into the helicopter, and then I'm shooting the rotor. And you can see in its glory how it blows up and absolutely obliterates and bakes the cop. I love the scenery like that. In this scenario, we are again trying to get on top of the Wang car's rooftop. We just wait for the cops to come as we call for our supply drops, because as you can see, I didn't have any armor at that point. Then I can see that there's a helicopter coming. Then after a few shots, I realize that the police officer is actually not going to attack us at the rooftop with their helicopter. He just goes towards the other rooftop to get a better location. So I decided that it would be actually better to leave our supply drops and just dip as fast as we can off the rooftop, as it would be stupidly dangerous to stay on it. As you can see, the cop successfully eliminated 35% of my health points, and then we drive into the city change, which happens every 7 in-game days. The police officer calls us rats as we cheer. In this situation in Foster Valley, I decided it would be a good idea to basically drive next to the cops. I make a few stunts that weren't quite successful. I actually wanted to land at the level of stadium, but I failed, so I had to improvise with something different. Just a bit of drift here and there to confuse the cops is pretty good sometimes, but you gotta be quite strategic too. So I decided to make this kind of jump, which some cops can't do because they just don't have enough speed, but these guys had. And then I hit this sign, and then I thought that this was it, that we were about to die. Then I just veer around these trees to trick the cops into hitting them. Then I sent over the river, and we landed successfully. As you can see in the chat, I tend to deploy oil slicks sometimes, which makes your opponent's cars wobble sometimes and can be very handy. So I decided it would be a good idea to go to Mount Chiliad for some reason, and now you're going to see why. For some reason I turned left. I'm not sure why. It's a very dangerous situation because our car doesn't have enough health points, and apparently I didn't go to the gas station because of the proximity of the cops that were chasing us. And then I decided to steer to the left, and there I noticed another cop for some reason hanging right there. I absolutely didn't expect that, so I knew I had to just go down towards the highway in between tunnels. So the cops are still up there, so we had some time to actually get away from them as soon as possible. But it's actually a very easy way to send themselves down the mountain there. But we basically made it through. In this clip, we got ambushed by a police officer who tried to snatch us off the rooftop using his motorcycle. And we actually had another guy on the other rooftop trying to take us down. He was mad because I probably robbed him. This guy would often quit to avoid death, which is very pathetic. And anyway, that cop actually did the stunt, and this wasn't exactly what I expected, but at least he got down and wasn't started shooting us from up there, which was kind of advantageous for us. Then, unfortunately, we got another crew of cops on bullet. going after us, and I hit that balcony, unfortunately. And I thought, oh my god, we are going to absolutely spend our night in jail or something like that, or in hospital. But they just couldn't make it through the grassy and hilly patch there, and I guess we just dipped, and probably we went to the gas station in Angel Pine or next to the Flint intersection. In this clip we were flying a Beagle as we tried to hunt down the guy that tried to kill us, but we got ambushed by a Rustler pilot, and it was basically too dangerous for us to sit back in it, so I decided to call for my car. And that guy actually died, the one that we tried to chase down. I think he got struck by the Rustler. So the car appeared down there and we basically parachuted ourselves. And it's always handy that the cars spawn so close. Sometimes they don't, but it was a good escape overall, so I assumed. But there, as you can see on the radar, there's another police officer approaching us, or maybe multiple officers in one car. You never know, unfortunately. So I decided to go on the slow road, so I steered to the left to gain extra speed. Yes, there's a concept of slow roads in GTA San Andreas. There are certain areas on the map where your car gets slower than on the others. So I hit that guy, unfortunately for us. Then I got on the highway, but my speed was too much and I just bumped into the fence, into the roadblock, or if I could call it a traffic divider. I don't know what that thing is called. Leave your comments under the video. Then there's another cop approaching us from behind, and our health points of the car were too little. I tried this stunt, but my speed was too little, and I actually called for another car before it, and there it spawned as I tried to snipe the cop and successfully headshot it. This was actually crazy, and we got kind of lucky there. And the car spawned right next to us, so we got away. So in this scenario, as I camped on the Las Venturas Police Department rooftop, that police officer tried to approach me with his helicopter, but I managed to obliterate him. I usually try to make those helicopters decoy ones. And there was another helicopter that I shot at the rotor. This poor cop really couldn't catch a break from us. And there is another helicopter that I would explode by shooting in the rotor. So we had actually 3 helicopters instead of 2 this time, and the guy just got absolutely baked. So in this clip I'm trying to get away from the cops after I retrieved my guns from the locker room in the San Fierro Police Department. And I decided to go to the Pointy building, which is the tallest building in San Fierro, to kind of trick the cops into getting to me as I try to summon my car. And there is another cop that tried to parachute it, but for some reason he just decided to die. I'm not sure why their parachute failed or something, or did he just press enter and released himself into the free fall. But anyway, I just stay there and I wait for the other cop to go to me, but he just never did, and I decided to approach him. But there was another guy. There was another cop almost out of nowhere. I didn't quite anticipate it, so I decided to run around as I tried to request the mechanic to deliver my car. And let's just see how it goes. So I just decided to go back into the building, onto the rooftop. The other guy tries to get me. I stole some money from him as I crouched. He cuffed me, but I broke free. And after attacking it, I became most wanted, which actually allows them to kill me on sight. There's another cop appearing, but they're stuck in that little B-roll that you can see when you're entering this tallest building. So my car spawned and I just parachute towards it. It works sometimes. There are times where it doesn't work, which I will showcase in my other video where I would analyze my deaths, basically. It's a very risky situation here because as you can see, I have very low health, but I managed to go in between the house and the pillars and I just drive away. So here I'm driving, I try to make a stunt and I fail because I didn't have enough speed, as I'm being chased by some guys. And this is actually one of the newest stunts I've learned. It just went really nicely for me. And I survived that one, and I escaped. Now that's a situation I actually didn't expect to happen. I actually looked at the radar and I noticed a cop down there, and I was trying to see what was he doing, and then I got ambushed by the guys who tried to kill me before. I dipped, but actually I didn't try to escape from them. It's funny because I tried to make this stunt to get to the cop, to try to rob him. And I summoned my car and waited for it to spawn, basically, hoping that it would spawn nearby, and it did, thankfully, as the other guys on their car. I don't really remember if I had a bounty on me, but they kind of approached me, and I just decided to shoot at where their car should be on their end of the screen, because SAMP is a laggy game sometimes, and especially when it comes to cars. You want to shoot a bit further than where their car actually appears on your screen. That's where they are on their end. You should shoot a bit further. And as I tried to go, I got snapped by this curb. Absolutely atrocious curb. But I survived that one. In this situation, I tried to shoot some cops, and I didn't get that headshot. And I actually grenaded myself. As you can see, my tires got completely obliterated. I almost had no armor, but I just kind of got lucky that their health points weren't enough already at the very beginning of our fight. So I decided to go further. And it would be very dangerous to continue this pursuit in a car that is almost about to be completely obliterated. It could actually explode. So I summoned my other car, deployed a smoke screen, actually mess with them to kind of confuse them. So that's why I did it. Anyway, on to the next clip. So in this one, I actually drop from the highest point on the Las Venturas Stadium, on which you can get using a grenade stunt. And I had my guys there, but I just decided to send it towards the cop who we shot previously, who was about to use a supply drop to refill their health points and armor. But I wanted to prevent it from happening, so I decided to attack him, and there was another cop that appeared almost out of nowhere. So I decided to mess with them a bit, because I had my boys anyway up there. I didn't want to really abandon them in this situation. Although they could actually survive that one, because it's not like there's 3 or 4 cops. Anyway, I knocked down that other cop, and this guy tries to take me down with a Rancher, which doesn't act in his favor, to say the least. It's a slow car at the end of the day. He tries to shoot me, so here come the other guys, and they start blasting at that cop. And then I look at the radar and I notice there are other cops behind me, so I had to actually dip. I have to save myself because I already have no armor, and they are chasing me down. So I decide to use this stunt and deploy an oil slick. Yes. And I successfully get away. Yes, the oil slick actually helped me to get away. And I just drive towards Julius Thruway South. So in this next scenario, I'm trying to attack a fake cop that attacked me before, and it didn't go quite well because they were actually in the same gang, and the other guy just attacked me, and I actually shouldn't have done it because it was very stupid, because they easily would outnumber me, as you can see in this picture. I thought I would actually die. Then I would just drive. Look at my health points, I'm about to get absolutely obliterated. But somehow I managed to get on the highway and go towards East Los Santos. They tripped on my oil slick, fortunately for me, and I just kinda got away. So one of my favorite strats is sometimes to just get on top of the Pink Swan rooftop and start blasting cops. But in this situation, the cops actually got on top. As you can see, I'm trying to shoot at them. But then I get reminded to myself that there is a stunt I can do using numpad 8. I get on top of the Four Dragons Casino, and then I just basically go towards Montgomery using that stunt. In this scenario, next to the Las Venturas Police Department, that cop approached me and I decided to land on the rooftop, and then I got tripped in the crevice in the building that I didn't know actually was there. As you can hear by the sound of the helicopter, I just wanted it to fly away, and then I sniped his rotor and he fell down and used a parachute. So I basically saved myself from getting sliced by hiding in that crevice under the wings of my dodo. It's a very interesting strategy and I definitely should try it someday again. Yeah, just run around for a bit, trying to see if there are any other cops who would be trying to shoot the dodo and make it explode and absolutely obliterate and bake me. I get on top of Dodo for the sake of fun and I can see that the cop decided to spawn or summon their car, their Banshee. And as you can see, it spawned right next to mine. And I just decided to wait for a bit. I didn't have too many sniper rifle bullets, and then I started blasting his Banshee until it would explode. It actually cost some money for the cars to be retrieved. I'm not sure how much it costs for Banshee, but for bullet it's $18,000. I decided to dip before Dodo would fall by itself, because you never know if it could land with its top down. If Dodo landed with its top down, it would probably explode. So I decide to shoot that cop's car, but he decides to shoot my car, and I decide to recall it with /RPV command. Again, I'm using auto hotkey, so you don't see me actually inputting the commands, as they are inserted almost instantaneously. So I threw grenades at the cop and he decides to dip towards the police department. I just take Dodo, which luckily for me landed with its wheels to the ground. And I just decide to take off with a little scratch on the side. So kinda like that. In this one I had a malicious intent of robbing that guy, and he knew that I would approach him to rob. I decide to blast him, but then I see that there are actually cops approaching. And they don't go after the guy, but they go after me because I'm most wanted. So maybe there's going to be more fun with me, I guess. So they're in premiere. Actually, I'm not sure why they decided to go after me. But anyway, I unsuccessfully threw the grenade, almost completely obliterating me. And sometimes the cops would want to use the other stairs to climb, and unfortunately I nudged my car towards the edge. Then I made this kind of wall ride and I basically dipped. So in this clip I actually didn't think that I would get rammed by Shamal when I was landing my Dodo, really like some kind of Hollywood movie stuff here. And the cop just used parachute, I guess, to land. My health points are quite low at this point and I'm trying to fly away as far as possible from the cops as I try to summon my car. Actually, it's very quite dangerous. You can literally blow up in Dodo if you don't jump out of it soon enough. But I got kind of lucky in this situation. Luckily, the car spawned not far from me, so I just took it and I instantly deployed nitro, went next to the pillar, which was very dangerous. I deploy an oil slick here, and there's a very nice spot. There's a collision there, but it's invisible, and it's very handy. Then I go to the right on the hill. It's one of my favorite strats in Los Santos. Then you can do another stunt just at that green hill. I use hydraulics to get some height. There's a very nice race line from Mulholland intersection towards downtown Los Santos. Then you go next to the fire department, retaining speed, go in between these columns, and there you could actually go towards the tunnel. But in this situation I had the cops very close to me, so I had to turn right. In the situation like this one, you don't have much choice, to be honest, and my health was low. They could easily get me in the tunnel, and that's how I escaped towards Flint County, where I can easily fix my car at the gas station. So there you have it. I hope you liked this video and join my Discord server for some extra content. We have a channel dedicated to specific stunts and how to perform them using bullet or whatever car you prefer. And join Mike's Cops and Robbers server. Links are in the description. Stay virtuous and I'll see you in the game.